So, what if I told you the key to building almost superhuman strength wasn't found in some high-tech, fancy gym, but in the most restrictive place you can possibly imagine? Well, today, that's exactly what we're diving into, how some of the toughest people on the planet built their strongest bodies with literally nothing.
So let me ask you this. What is the ultimate gym? Forget the shiny chrome machines, the smoothie bar, the $1,000 a year memberships. The real answer is way more brutal, and frankly, a lot more effective than you could ever imagine. That's it. A 6 by 9 foot concrete box. A space smaller than most people's bathrooms. This is the laboratory where a raw, functional, and almost frightening kind of strength is forged.
That's a direct quote from a man named Charles Bronson. He spent over 40 years in prison, a huge chunk of that in solitary confinement. Now, whether it's legend or fact, his physical power, built inside those four walls, is the stuff of prison folklore.
3,000. Just let that number sink in. That's how many push-ups Bronson claimed he could bust out in a single day. We're talking about an absolutely insane volume of work, day after day, with zero equipment and zero excuses.
And look, Bronson's story, as wild as it sounds, it isn't some one-off case. This idea of building strength in confinement isn't limited to just one guy. In fact, one of the most famous athletes of the 20th century proved it on the world stage.
Picture this, 1992, Mike Tyson, at the absolute peak of his fame, goes to prison for 3 years. The world pretty much expected him to come back as a shadow of his former self. But instead, he walked out bigger and stronger, with legs so massive they were straining the seams of his boxing shorts. And how did he build them? With a simple deck of playing cards. So that's the big question, isn't it? How is any of this possible? I mean, it flies in the face of everything the modern fitness industry preaches. But it's not magic. It's a completely different philosophy of how to work.
To really get how this works, you have to look past the individual exercises and really understand the philosophy behind it all. It really boils down to 5 core principles that make this kind of training so brutally effective.
Okay, here they are. First, you've got insane volume, which just forces your muscles to adapt through sheer repetition. Then, compound movements. We'll get into that in a sec. Minimal rest, which skyrockets your endurance and growth. Fourth is forced creativity, basically using your environment as your gym. And finally, the glue that holds it all together, an unbreakable mindset.
Okay, so at the heart of all this is a laser focus on compound movements. Think about it. A push-up isn't just a chest exercise, right? It's your shoulders, your triceps, your entire core all firing at once to move your body as one powerful unit. Now, compare that to a lot of modern gym routines that are all about isolating show muscles, like bicep curls. One approach builds a functional machine. The other just kind of polishes the chrome.
And this next principle, this just shows you the genius of it. Back in the 90s, when federal prisons took away all the weights, did the inmates stop training? No way! They adapted. A garbage bag filled with water became a makeshift dumbbell. Your cellmate became a human barbell. See, your body doesn't know the difference between a 100-pound weight and a 100-pound person. It only understands one thing: tension. But honestly, this right here is the real key. In prison, getting strong isn't a hobby you do for a selfie. It can be a genuine tool for survival. So training, it becomes non-negotiable. There's no pump-up music, no mirrors, no pre-workout to get you in the zone. It's just you, the floor, and the cold, hard reality that weakness is not an option.
All right, so we've covered the why. Now let's get our hands dirty with the how. I'm going to walk you through 2 of the most legendary prison workouts ever created, routines you can literally start using today.
First up is a true classic. It's called the deck of pain. All you need is one standard 52-card deck of playing cards. That is it. It is one of the simplest, most brutal, and most effective workouts ever designed.
The setup is dead simple. You just pick 4 exercises, let's say push-ups, squats, pull-ups, and sit-ups. Then you assign 1 to each suit in the deck. You give it a good shuffle, place it face down, and you're ready to rock. You flip a card and you do the work. The deck is your drill sergeant.
Okay, the rules are simple, but man, they are punishing. The numbered cards are just their face value. All the face cards, Jack, Queen, King, they're worth 10 reps, and the ace is 11. If you do the math, by the time you're done with that deck, you've knocked out a staggering 380 total reps. But the real killer here is the randomness. You can't pace yourself because you never know what's coming next. You just have to react and endure.
All right, workout number 2. This one has a story.
It comes from a notoriously dangerous prison down in Juarez, Mexico. And honestly, it might be one of the most intelligent bodyweight workout structures I've ever seen.
Now, the structure here is just incredibly clever. You're doing 20 sets, but look how you alternate. You do a high rep set, then a super low rep set. So you start with 20 reps, but your very next set is just one single rep. Then you do 19 reps, followed by 2. This wave is the secret sauce. It gives you just enough recovery to keep pushing so you don't burn out, but you still rack up a massive 210 reps. Your body is always on the edge, but it never completely breaks.
Okay, you know the principles. You've seen the routines. Now it's time to make this real. Here is exactly how you can put this stuff into practice today, no matter what your fitness level is.
So you've got 2 paths here. If you're just starting out, try the Huarez method, but just do the first 10 sets. That gives you 55 total reps. Do that 3 times a week. If you're more advanced, take on the full deck of pain. Set a timer, get through it, and your only goal for next week is to beat your time. Simple as that.
And here's your benchmark for that full 20-set Huarez workout. The goal is to finish all 210 reps as fast as you can. Under 20 minutes, that's strong. But under 15, well, as the saying from the prison goes, you own the yard.
So here's the final thought I want to leave you with. These men, they were given nothing but concrete walls and time, and they used it to forge unbreakable bodies and minds. You have access to everything. So the question is, what will you build with it?